against the law to look this damn good.
Hello. Hi everyone. This is the not tarot. Okay, we're still trying to establish on what this part of the of each read love, moving to COSMICTOLOGY. So make sure you follow because we're moving all this T for the T in transit. Okay, so welcome to the T in transit. Oh, finally, I already have it. Okay, so welcome to the T in transit, the truth about transits with the planets. How is everybody? Before we start, this is going to be Vedic sidereal astrology, not Western tropical. So there's going to be a big difference with the degrees. Okay? So now that it's established, let's discuss the full moon in Gemini that is happening. Let me see. I feel it's on the 22nd. Full moon. Yep, it's going to be full moon in Ardra. Okay, December 22, okay, here in Ardra. Okay, before we go to the transit, we're gonna identify first how significant the full moon transit. So, with the moon, guys, I have here my notes, so do your homework always, okay? With the moon, we always identify this as our emotion, our intuition, our mind at the same time as our heart. This is something that is pure. Besides, people would call it also as something as an illusion, something that is a secret, something that, that changes fast. The moon is the most moodiest of all. It goes to a phase, more fast, like in 12 cycles every time, the fastest when it moves around as far as like planets. So that's where we can look at the perspective of the moon. But we're going to look at it from the Ardra perspective, the nakshatra. We're not going to look at the whole nakshatra as because I like to look at it on the surface level. Normally, we can go deep into it and like it's an amazing experience. But the surface level for doing the prediction, you will see right away the connection and how things are manifesting in our life. Okay. So the Ardra Nakshatra, okay, this is symbolizing a teardrop. So this is a very, how to say this, not so celebratory nakshatra coming from Mrigashira Ardra. And then there's the Purnarvasu. Okay, which Purnarvasu is receiving the blessing after the storm. So think of this nakshatra as something that is heartfelt. These are the things that we cried about. These are the things that it can be associated as a dark night of the soul, the transformation. This is from the things that we feel that it's at loss. Okay, because it's a teardrop. When we cry, it's either we cry for joy or we cry for happiness. But this one is like crying for both because it's a transformation that's happening, understanding what we basically have lost. Okay, that's on my perspective of looking at Ardra as a teardrop, symbolizing the teardrop. So now that we have established what the moon and what the nakshatra is, okay, looking at it in a Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Okay, we've identified also Mercury in our previous transit, the T4 transit, with Mercury being in Scorpio. We identify Mercury besides technology, communication. These are choices of our life. Mercury is either you do or you don't. Which way do you go? The choices that we face. So we would have to look at it, the choices that we have made, okay, that made us change because of things that we have lost. Now remember, moon is happening internal, okay? Moon is something that we experience within. So we will be experiencing this transformation within. So it's not you're going to cry right now, you're going to have some losses. I look at it in the perspective as it's a moon, okay, because it goes fast. The next cycle is there right away. You will have this moment of energy inside you, understanding, well, that has to have been let go. I really let go of that. And it's very transformative because, you know, as the year end cycle, okay, with the winter solstice also coming, right? It's relieving us from the past and seeing the choices that we made about it, and you know, you're gonna be understanding why, what it is. Yes. But we would have to look at it now, of course, as all the T in transit will be related to partnership. We're going to try to relate it still to love and relationship, besides the mundane. You will see here that as a full moon is having that experience in Gemini, in Ardra Nakshatra, the sun is in Mula Nakshatra in Sagittarius. So that's 1-7. That's the, you know, that's 1 and 7 is always the house of partnership. Okay? But I'm not talking about, oh, you're a Sag, you're a Gemini. No. It will be triggering in the things that we are in partnership. Now, the sun is in Mula Nakshatra. Okay, let me see. Yeah, the sun is in Mula Nakshatra, which is, okay, if we were to identify the Mula, is the root. This is also the opposite of luck. Okay, so it's highlighting in the Sag, okay, sun and Sag, it's highlighting there the things that you were not lucky about. But when you realize that, remember Mula, Nakshatra, the root, and this is also the opposite of, you know, not opposite, but it's like the owl next to Lakshmi, okay, which is Lakshmi, symbolism of luck and abundance. So you're understanding now the root of why you didn't get things. Because the moment, you know, the sun would shift and the moon will shift, you will come to an understanding of how lucky you are by not being with those energies anymore. So these are relationship that hasn't been functioning for a while, and you will find the root because the sun will enlighten it. The sun will bring it out to surface. It will brighten whatever root of the problem in the relationship, okay, as it is 1 and 7. So it's highlighting that part of your connection with reference to partnership. Now, okay, so this is the part now where we're gonna look at it from your ascendants. Okay, now of course let's look at it from a Gemini ascendant, where it's happening. Of course it's happening, it's gonna sit in your first house. Okay, so consider that your first house is your head, your whole eternal, even your way of thinking, okay, for Gemini rising, on what you have been suffering about. Okay, you will have an internalization because the person that you are dealing with will give you the truth now. They will speak up, whoever you're dealing with, for Gemini rising. Now, as that move also, for example, if you're going to look at it from a Sag perspective, the Sag will be the one understanding the person. If you're a Sag rising, you will now start to understand that the person that you're dealing with could have been suffering because of you. So it's an internalization from both ends. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. Now, let's look at it from the 5th house, which is house of romance and relate, which is going to be an Aquarius rising. So if you're an Aquarius rising, okay, the person that you just met, the person that you've been dating, you guys are not in a relationship with, you guys are not official, okay, this person is having some sort of, how to say this, like a decision between either to move forward. Okay, either you guys go to the 7th house, which is Leo. If this person really loves you, because Leo rules the heart, they will decide now basically either to commit, because this is now they're going. Remember the dark night of the soul. Either they go through it or they get scared of it. It becomes a blockage. It becomes a restraint. Okay, and then basically you guys don't get past through the 5th house. They don't go to the relationship. Okay, because once they face it, because remember it's still enlightening the 1-7 from Gemini perspective. Okay, it's still enlightening them. So if they realize that they have so much love for you, if you're Aqua rising, then now they will basically showing you a commitment kind of relationship. It will go now to the 7th house. It might even become official. Okay, and you will see here also, because Leo is aspecting, if you're a Leo rising, okay, the sun is going to be in your 5th house. Okay, so when this person that you can be falling in love with right now. They're just a source of joy and happiness as Sun is bringing it out. But remember, Saturn is there, but we're not going to go there. We're just looking at it through the perspective of the Sun, okay? But of course, with Sun and Saturn over there, you're meeting this karmic person who's enlightening you, but they're also trying to make a decision on what it is really the true feelings between the two of you. Now you will see that it like Sal is just like going around in circles. Like this is just going around in circles. I'll tell you why. Why it just going in circles? Because the moon is a reflection. There's no going around it. It's just this and this. It reflects. It will bounce back whatever it is. It's a mirror effect. So in any perspective you look at it, it's the same scenario, the same outcome possibly, of course, depending on other planets. If you have a stellium, you have a conjunct, or whatever planets is influencing, aspecting in your chart. But it's always going to be a mirror. So this is not the house of mirrors, but it's going to be in a way, this mirror helps you look at the situation and how it is and what basically how it's affecting you. It's time basically to face your fear with this full moon happening in Ardra. What's good about it is the Sun is enlightening in it, showing the root of what you have to let go, what you have to go into transformation. Okay? So, I hope this was a helpful insight for you guys. There's a link down there. It's COSMICTOLOGY. And come 2019, that's where I will move all the astrology talk that I do. So make sure you follow and subscribe to that channel. If there's a link also here, there's the T for transit, where we talk about all the truth that is happening in each transit of the planets. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys again at the next transit.
It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good.
Watch out now.
Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would.
Watch out now.
It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good.
Watch out now.
Everybody watch out.